The 2026 offseason is officially here. These are the guys hitting unrestricted free agency or sitting on player options who have the power to completely flip the power dynamics of this entire league next year. Who's actually going to move the needle? Today, we're breaking down the top 10 market-shaking free agents using the NBA SDB Player Index. Before we hit the countdown itself, let's establish our baseline with the guy who just missed the cut at number 11. And rather than drowning you in charts, we're grading these players against 3 distinct tiers. First, you've got your standard league average. Then there's the elite top 50 tier. And finally, that top 10 tier, where the numbers genuinely break the scale. With those benchmarks locked in, let's tear apart the true value of these 10 players. We're getting into it right now. We open things up in Golden State. Kristaps Porzingis, sitting on an overall rating of 807. Crack open his profile, and he's clearing the league average across the board. That tells you everything. He delivers genuine versatility on both sides of the ball. But the number that'll stop you cold? His blocks. That metric climbs all the way to 661. He obliterates the top 50 tier, and he's right there, breathing down the neck of the top 10. His defense and rebounding are already comfortably above average, but that pure rim protection, that's his nuclear option. Now, for any front office hunting this summer, the alarm bell is availability. The man played just 32 games this season. That's the elephant in the room. But on the nights he actually suits up, he posts an SPI of 15.44. That is a number that demands your attention. He anchors the paint with his length and still scores at a level most big men can't touch. The unicorn label isn't hyperbole, it's the only word that fits. Hitting unrestricted free agency at 30 years old, this is a classic high-risk, high-reward proposition. So which franchise is bold enough to write that check? This is precisely where general managers prove their worth. Utah's Yusuf Nurkic rolls into the conversation at number 9. He jumped 63 points from last year, landing on an overall rating of 809. And the headline from his stat line? His passing. A season ago, his assist numbers were sitting below average. This year, they went through the roof. He essentially constructed a brand new identity as a legitimate playmaking center. That's not a minor adjustment. That's a transformation. Flip over to his work on the glass, and his rebounding score punches straight into the elite top 10 tier, checking in at 901. He's even generating top 50 steal numbers. For a center with his frame, that speaks to serious mobility and defensive instincts. After serving as the backbone of a rebuilding Jazz squad, he hits unrestricted free agency at 31 years old. Sure, his scoring efficiency floats around league average, but pairing elite board dominance with the ability to function as an offensive initiator, that's a rare combination on any open market. He is a literal tank who can run your half-court offense. For a contender with championship ambitions right now, he is that immovable piece that blows your entire playbook wide open. Detroit's Tobias Harris stakes his claim at number 8. The veteran arrives with an 810 rating. The defining arc of his season? An absolute defensive renaissance. He willingly surrendered a larger offensive share to Detroit's younger pieces, and the return on that sacrifice was enormous. His defensive impact vaulted past the top 50 tier. His rebounding and steals are both comfortably clearing league average, crafting a profile that has no real weaknesses. Detroit carved out a high seed this year. And when you trace the thread back through their run, Tobias Harris is woven through all of it. He wasn't the guy lighting up the box score every night, but he was the calm at the center of the storm for a young core that was still figuring itself out. He didn't carry them, he steadied them, and he did it across 63 games, proving that at 33 years old, his durability hasn't budged. On offense, he settled into a dependable, predictable rhythm, but that predictability, that was exactly what kept the Pistons' engine from stalling. As unrestricted free agency approaches this summer, every legitimate contender is going to be picking up the phone. They know the exact product they're purchasing: suffocating defense and a veteran intellect that money can't manufacture. Ayo Dosunmu completely rewrote his own story in Minnesota to seize the 7th spot. He lands here with an 810 rating. And the defining narrative? A total identity overhaul. The prior season, he was built around distribution, but this year, he blew clean past the top 50 tier in both scoring and defense. His deep ball? He's burying a staggering 43.9% from 3. He consciously traded his assist numbers to become a finisher and a perimeter stopper. The data captures this role reversal in real time. It's genuinely beautiful to watch on paper. He became a high-efficiency scorer and an elite lockdown defender for a Timberwolves team that was surging all season long. His true shooting percentage clocks in at an impressive 63.03%. He is the textbook 3-and-D weapon the modern NBA is starving for, a floor general who rebuilt himself into an elite two-way threat. Entering unrestricted free agency at just 26 years old, his price tag is only going to climb from here. Atlanta's CJ McCollum locks down the 6th spot. The veteran guard carries an 828 rating into this market. And the twist nobody saw coming? His defense. He took a significant step forward on that end. His defensive score punched right through the top 50 tier, landing at 862. To see a 34-year-old unlock a completely new defensive dimension at this stage of his career is genuinely wild, but the numbers leave no room for argument. His offensive efficiency, meanwhile, settled into a steady, above-average groove. Don't get it twisted though, give him the ball, and he is still a primary scoring threat. What really separates him from the rest of this tier though, is his durability. He appeared in 76 games this year. That is Ironman level consistency. For a young Hawks roster still finding its footing, he was the emotional anchor holding that backcourt together all season. Entering unrestricted free agency this summer, he has evolved from a volume scorer into a genuinely complete veteran. Every contender worth its salt is going to have him circled on the board as the exact tactical upgrade that instantly elevates a roster's ceiling. Stepping into the top 5, Kevin Porter Jr. arrives in Milwaukee with a redemption arc that's hard to ignore. He's built his rating up to 838. But the number that will make you do a double take? His perimeter defense. It climbed to the summit of the entire league. We always knew the hands were elite, but his steal metric doesn't just enter the top 10 tier, it buries itself deep inside it, registering at 912. Opposing backcourts genuinely had nightmares dealing with this man. And flip over to the offensive side. Scoring used to be a legitimate question mark on his resume. Not anymore. He cleared the league average comfortably this year. As a floor general, his assists and overall impact held rock steady in that top 50 tier, raising his two-way foundation to a level nobody fully anticipated. After a season where every performance got measured against everything off the court, word around the league is that he'll decline his player option and test the open market. Here's what you need to keep front of mind. The man is 25 years old. He didn't plateau as a defensive specialist. He evolved into a versatile core piece. The bidding war around his upside is going to be one of the loudest storylines of the entire summer. Boston's Nikola Vucevic commands the 4th spot. He closes out the year at an 844 rating. Now, let's address what everyone's been saying, the defense. The public narrative had him painted as a liability on that end all season. But here is the actual reality. Boston and Chicago run high-octane, up-tempo systems. That environment does one thing. It exposes declining lateral speed. That's it. Pull up his actual defensive score, it spikes to 901. That's knocking directly on the top 10 tier's door. The data is crystal clear. Plant him in a fixed position, let him anchor a zone, and his paint presence and rebounding are still genuinely dominant. His offensive workload has settled to the league average, so his true value right now is entirely about tactical fit. Drop him onto a team that grinds half-court basketball, let him operate in a slow, traditional drop defense. Do that, and he immediately becomes the immovable wall those numbers say he already is. He enters unrestricted free agency this summer at 35 years old. Can he find a franchise willing to neutralize his lack of foot speed in exchange for a genuine veteran anchor? This is a crossroads moment, a chance to redefine his legacy on his own terms. The Lakers step into the spotlight at number 3 with Austin Reeves. He earned himself an 849 rating this year. And the single biggest development from his season? His explosion as a legitimate first-option scorer. He didn't just crack the top 50 tier, he shattered it. He's averaging 23.3 points a night. And his true shooting percentage? It hits a staggering 64.13%. That's not role player territory. That's elite tier production, full stop. There's real noise about his fit alongside Luka Doncic, whether their roles bleed into each other too much. But cut through that chatter, and what you find is a guy running the Lakers offense right beside LeBron James night after night with complete statistical consistency. He has long since outgrown the role player label. And here's where the real tension lives. Rumors of a 5-year, $240 million max contract are swirling hard this summer. Is he genuinely worth that commitment? Can he deliver when the postseason lights come on? Is he actually the guy to carry the torch for one of basketball's most storied franchises? With LeBron dropping increasingly heavy hints about his own future, the stakes couldn't be higher. Reeves is standing at the defining crossroads of his entire career, trying to prove that max investment is not just deserved, but inevitable. LeBron James defies every law of physics to claim the runner-up position. The 41-year-old posts an 852 rating. And the story the data tells here is genuinely fascinating. He is 41 years old, and he is still bending the game to his will. But it didn't happen by accident. It required a deliberate evolution. He intentionally dialed his outside shooting back, funneled everything into attacking the paint, and orchestrating the offense with surgical precision. And the dividends? His scoring and assists are still cemented in that top 50 tier. He's not forcing the issue. He's simply controlling the game the way only a few humans in history ever could. Retirement whispers are getting louder, but every time he steps on that floor, his SPI registers 15.59. That is elite tier output. Full stop. He enters unrestricted free agency this summer. Where does the king write his final chapter? Which city gets to host basketball royalty for one more run? Or does he finally step away from the throne entirely? The entire basketball world is holding its breath waiting to find out. And sitting at the very top of this list, James Harden reigns supreme in Cleveland with an 857 rating. This is the most complete offensive system on the market, entering free agency at 36 years old. The data paints a portrait of outright dominance on that side of the ball. His scoring and playmaking obliterate the top 50 tier, establishing beyond any doubt that he is still an elite floor general. He actually leaned even harder into his scoring and passing compared to last year, constructing a profile that is simultaneously more aggressive and more balanced. But the number that makes your jaw drop? His efficiency. His SPI spikes to an absurd 17.03. During the regular season, his dominance is as real as it gets, but the postseason conversation is a different animal entirely. The loudest voices in the room are questioning whether his system-dependent, heavy possession style actually translates when the margin for error disappears. His evaluation is getting pulled in opposite directions in real time. He enters unrestricted free agency this summer. Where does this level of tactical mastery and veteran experience land next? This is a high-stakes situation, no other way to frame it. But wherever this 36-year-old legend ends up, it will send a shockwave through the entire NBA landscape. Step back and absorb this list as a whole, and it's a genuinely wild mix of narratives. You've got legends like Harden and LeBron, chasing one more chapter on their own terms. Then rising forces like Reeves and Dosunmu, leveraging their breakout seasons to demand a different kind of conversation. And elite craftsmen like Nurkic and Harris, who have mastered their specific roles to perfection. The 2026 market is going to be impossibly dense, blending win-now urgency with long-term upside in ways we haven't seen in years. So, what are these front offices going to do? Out of these 10 guys, who reshapes the market the most? And what is the single piece your favorite team actually needs to take the next step? Drop it.